Harihi Om. Welcome everybody to this webinar session. In this session, our theme is the power of Sankalpa, which we may translate as resolve or resolution or clear intention. In the Chāndogya Upanishad, to be specific, in the 7th chapter, the young teacher Sanat Kumara guides his quite elderly student Narada through a number of stages of understanding what our inner life is all about. Narada comes to the teacher with, on one hand, a claim that he knows a lot of things, a long list of subjects he presents before Sanat Kumara and says, I have studied all this. On the other hand, Narada very honestly and openly admits that in spite of all that knowledge, he really has no peace of mind. He has not found lasting happiness. Like most of us who do experience happiness, who do experience joy on a number of occasions, but who at the same time cannot claim that that happiness is steady, we find that happiness comes and goes, and between two moments of happiness, we have sorrow, we have fear, we have uncertainty, we have anxiety, and so on. Narada is far more eminent than all of us, yet he too has a sense of incompleteness. He says to the young teacher, Sanat Kumara, I have heard that people, upon gaining self-knowledge, upon knowing the Atma, cross all sorrow. They go beyond all grief, all regrets, or we may even take the liberty to say, through purest self-knowledge, one goes beyond all negativities. Negative emotions make the life of even the well-placed people miserable. The rich and famous are as miserable as the poor and the unknown. Narada thus represents the very, very eminent elite club of the world, and Sanat Kumara smiles at him and says to Narada, I am not surprised, for the long list of subjects and skills and expertise that you have mentioned, all that to me is just name. They are just words. They don't mean much to me, says Sanat Kumara. And following that, upon Narada requesting Sanat Kumara to teach him, guide him to deeper dimensions of existence, Sanat Kumara opens our life, human life, layer by layer. Nama, then there is Vak, then there is Manaha. Then in this session of our webinar, we are going to consider what Sanat Kumara mentions as the fourth layer or fourth hidden faculty which needs to be awakened. Then we rise to that level of accomplishment, that level of attainment. We have, the Vedanta would say, everything within us. we have in potential form the highest realization within us only to be owned by us. Right now, we are oblivious of what we have within us. We just don't know. So we need to rise vertically in consciousness. So the fourth level of this awakening, and according to some commentators, there are 26 more levels, and on top of the 30th, or at the top of the list of 30, is what is known as bhoomā. In the nomenclature, in the terminology of Chāndogya Upanishad, bhoomā is the highest. Bhoomā is limitless. And Sanat Kumara is going to finally talk about bhoomā and the infinite, the limitless reality, and the chapter concludes with some praise of bhoomā. Upon realizing this infinite reality, one gains lasting happiness, not otherwise. But let's go a little slow, for haste is waste, and we need to go step by step. We need to prepare for that highest appreciation. So what is Sankalpa, which appears as the fourth member of the list of 30 factors? Sankalpa is resolve, as we said already. First of all, let me read for you the mantra in which Sanat Kumara mentions the factor Sankalpa. The third factor was Manaha. Manaha is kind of desiring. I wish to do this, I wish to get that. Could be secular, could be religious. I wish to buy a new car. You have in your mind a desire to buy a new car, and that is Manaha. It could be religious. I wish to conduct a particular worship, a particular ritual, a particular yajna or yaga, or I wish to start from today itself some special spiritual practice, japa, reciting, repeating God's name or a special mantra a number of times. I won't go to work unless I complete 10 malas of Om Namo Narayanaya, someone says. So that is the desire level, it is Manaha. And superior to the desire level, Manaha, is Sankalpa. That is how the first mantra of the fourth section of the 7th chapter talks about Sankalpa. Sankalpo vava manaso bhuyan. Bhuyan means greater. As we climb the steps in the ladder of 30 steps, we were at level 4, step 4, step 3 rather, Manaha, and coming to step 4, Sankalpa, the fourth step, is Manaso Bhuyan, is greater than merely wishing, merely desiring, or merely fancying. Though that fancying, that desiring is where it all starts. But many a time, it starts with Manaha and stops there. It doesn't go further. So what gives it additional energy, additional strength is Sankalpa. Therefore, Sankalpo Manaso Bhuyan. Yada vai Sankalpayate atha manasyati atha vachamirayati tam u namni hirayati namni mantra ekam bhavanti mantreshu karmani is the mantra where Sanat Kumara says, unless there is adequate Sankalpa, the previous 3 manaha and vak and nama would not be effective. They would not run far. They would go a few steps and stop. Like somebody joining a 4-year, 5-year professional course and dropping out after 3 semesters or after 2 years of study. In order that one may successfully complete the 8 semester or 10 semester course, one needs greater fuel. One needs to have greater determination. In that sense, Sankalpaha Manaso Bhūyān. Now, rather than taking a loose idea of greater energy or greater momentum or some greater resolve, we need to examine what is Sankalpa. Then you will understand how in this session's topic we have called Sankalpa the key to achievement. In order to understand Sankalpa mentioned in this Chāndogya Upanishad, we take recourse to the wonderful, insightful comments by none other than Adi Shankaracharya. He explains, Sankalpo vava manaso bhūyān. That is the words of the mantra. Sankalpopi manasyanavat antakarana vrittihi. He admits what was said before, manaha, which I loosely translated as desire, fancying, wishing, was basically a thought form. And Shankaracharya admits that Sankalpa also is a thought form. It is a thought form. As we say in physics, the carbon that is used to make a pencil, the writing pencil, and the carbon that is in diamond as the element, both of them are carbon. But diamond is diamond and the writing pencil material is pencil material. Sankalpaha api antakarana vrittihi, a thought form, and manaha api, what was mentioned before, the third level, antakarana vrittihi. And both of them are into this business, if I may say, of deciding what to have, what not to have, what to do, what not to do. Kartavya, akartavya, vishaya vibhagena. Both of them are engaged. But Sankalpa is kartavya, akartavya, vishaya vibhagena samarthanam. The extra word here is samarthana. Justification, standing by the wish. We may have 100 desires in a day, but of the 100 desires, maybe 5 or 6 are such where there is another supporting thought in us, and that supporting thought ensures that those 5 or 6 desires are taken forward. We take it forward and hopefully fulfill them. So vibhagena hi samarthite. In this way, when there is a support that this desire, hey, is worth fulfilling, worth pursuing, let's go for it. Let's not just drop it halfway. Just as I earlier gave the illustration, somebody finds after going to the 3rd semester of a 8 semester course, he finds things are very difficult. He looks back and forth. He looks sideways. Did I come to the wrong place? But then upon some examination, upon some more deliberation, he says, no way. Whatever the obstacles are, I'm going to get going. Therefore, Adi Shankara says, Chikirsha buddhihi, wanting to do, I will do it. Chikirsha means kartum ichcha. And further clarifies, yada vai sankalpayate, only when somebody goes for the level of sankalpa, then In what context? Kartavya adi vishayan vibhajate. With the power of Sankalpa, one makes distinct categories. This needs to be done and that doesn't have to be done. Kartavya, akartavya. Idam kartum yuktam. This is fit to be done. This ought to be done. I must do it, even if there are obstacles. And idam referring to another piece of desire, another possibility, another proposal. The thought form called Sankalpa says, idam akartum ayuktam. Ayuktam means inappropriate. One should not do whatever comes to one's mind. One goes to a big mall and one may feel like buying a number of things. Even if one has the money, even if one has enough space at home to keep them all, it is simply meaningless to buy everything that one feels attracted to. Therefore, idam kartum yuktam, idam kartum ayuktam iti manasyati. And then there is the further movement. Okay, now let me go. And once more, this could apply to laukika, secular context, or it can apply to Vedika or religious contexts. To recite a certain mantra, to perform a certain ritual, to bring that mantra in the verbal, vocal form, and then finally to actually do everything connected with it. Therefore, in the Vedic or Vedic context, this can be appreciated, and with a little adaptation, it goes into any other human endeavor. Recently, I watched a Western motivational speaker's video. Wayne Dyer. He passed away a couple of years ago, but he was one of the very well-received speakers. And as most of you surely know, he had at a certain crucial stage in his life when he was much younger, he had received inspiration from Nisargadatta of Mumbai in India. And Nisargadatta, an enlightened soul who was established in the purest self-knowledge, made Wayne Dyer take a second look at his life. And for the rest of his life, here and there, he did openly say, he called Wayne Dyer his source of inspiration, teacher, and whatnot. So, the video that came to my hands was titled, The Power of Intention. Intention is very close to resolve. You intend. It's not that you wish. We wish many things. Then we intend to do a few things. So intention is a greater, more powerful mental movement. What's your intention? What's your uddesha? What's your, I guess in Hindi you have a word, what is your irada? Kya irada hai? What's your uddesha? Somebody, enters some kind of area where there is a board. Trespassing is not allowed. Trespassers are or will be prosecuted. So this person goes in. The police ask, hey, what are you trying to do? You have come that far. Nobody enters like this. You have entered. And then this person, if he had done unknowingly, though there was a big board, this guy did not know. He drove into the campus. He apologizes. Oh no, I did not know. Sorry. Then he goes away. So intention is, I gave this example of trespassing with the idea that when you have sankalpa, intention, you kind of go several steps further than otherwise. But then I must hasten to add, some people may have ill-conceived intentions, wrong intentions, misguided intentions. Therefore, just as we say elsewhere about buddhi, buddhim tu sarathim vidhi. Kathopanishad says our buddhi, our intellect over there, is like the very driver, the very charioteer of the car, of the chariot of human life. If human life is like a journey by a chariot, every human being's buddhi is the charioteer, the driver. But mind you, many a time a driver could be not very wise. Driver could be not very stable. Yesterday I read a joke. The question was asked, why are there speed breakers? Why are there humps on the road? The answer is, that is meant to wake up sleepy drivers. What a funny answer. But yes, once in a while, 1 in 1,000 drivers is indeed sleepy. And the hump or the speed breaker, rather than making him slow down, it does indeed wake him up. He says, hey, where am I? And so on. So the joke apart, please see power of intention. Wayne Dyer in that video rallies many arguments to prove, to establish that a lot of us have lots of thoughts. I will do this, I will do that. Or some of us, when people give us ideas, say to everybody, oh yeah, that's a very good idea, I will do it. It is done. Just meet me next week. I will have done it. I will give you that. And then we overpromise. And there are some among us who promise in the morning and forget in the afternoon. That means they are not insincere, but at the same time there is something lacking in them. That means they are not so well organized in their own mental makeup. They have a very long list of things to do, and in a sense they are sincere, but in another sense they don't know then what to take up first, what to actually do, what to actually implement. They have nodded, they have said yes to everything. As the expression goes, promise in haste and repent at leisure. That is the sorry state of affairs of a whole lot of people in this world. Therefore, any motivational speaker, any management guru, any CEO coach, anybody who guides people in their life, today, on one hand, from the spiritual science, we make forays into the value-based management area. On the other, beginning or having roots in so-called value-based management, certain principles go over to influence the spiritual domain. And therefore, there are some people who begin as spiritual teachers, and then you find them guiding a number of corporate executives. They began in the Adhyatma Vidya and ended up getting very active in the industry and business. Then there are some who begin as HRD managers, who begin guiding executives and CEOs, and slowly they get promoted. They graduate to become life coaches, not just CEO coaches. Life. They are able to influence and inspire the whole of life of anybody and anywhere. That's like there was Eknath Ishwaran in California, who originally from India, uh, originally from Kerala, but then he was head of Department of English in Nagpur in Madhya Pradesh, then went to Berkeley as a Fulbright scholar teaching English there. And in his case, to quickly mention, he humorously says in his books that he was teaching English back in India, in Kerala or Nagpur, wherever, and later on in UC Berkeley, and he used to teach Shakespeare. And while teaching Shakespeare, here and there, he would mention Ramana or Ramakrishna for some illustration. But then more and more people were drawn to him. They loved his way of teaching. And slowly he settled down in Northern California. And he himself admits that after his retirement from University of California in Berkeley, he was teaching Ramana and Ramakrishna primarily, and once in a while he would quote Shakespeare. So this is an interesting switching. And coming back, you may wonder where I am going. Coming back to Sankalpa. Sankalpa is a concept. Sankalpa is a principle. Sankalpa is a certain insight. If we fully understand, fully appreciate it, it's going to make a difference to us whether we are struggling to achieve something in the mundane world of money, men and matters, or we are struggling to achieve something in the spiritual world. Another management guru who had a certain spiritual flavor to his works was Stephen Covey. And what goes well, to my understanding, with Sankalpa in the teachings of Stephen Covey is his emphasis on deciding and being clear about what he called a personal mission statement. In his book, the bestseller, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey says, are you clear where you want to go? Are you clear what you want to achieve? And if you are not, better you sit down and reflect. And as you reflect and become a bit clear, better you write down my mission, what I want to achieve, where I want to go. Don't put aside such ideas saying, I know, we believe in desirelessness. Therefore, we don't want to write down any such desire because especially in our Eastern philosophy, the highest is to be free of desire. Stephen Covey would say, even if that is the case, write down, my mission is to be free of desire. My desire is to be free of desire. So personal mission statement. Apparently, or why apparently, it is well known that a whole lot of organizations, corporations, companies define their MS, mission statement. And here is not company's mission statement, but personal mission statement. MS becomes PMS. So here we have Sankalpa. So Stephen Covey would say, personal mission statement, I would say that is what Chāndogya Upanishad touched upon through the word Sankalpa. You decide and then you bring your energies into what today you regard as your goal. Nobody is saying, write a goal and then get stuck with that for the rest of your life. No. You must conduct this reflection, this introspection, this self-examination. Who knows, in 2017, your intention is to have real solid financial stability. And you work towards it. And by the time you go halfway towards that goal, you feel so good, so happy and so content, and then you revise. I don't have to reach all the way up there. By 2018 December, in exactly 12 months, you may replace that goal with a better one. Holistic beauty, better relationships. My goal is to have better patience with my children, with my spouse, with my neighbors, or should I add with our gurus? Maybe not. I want to be more patient. In any relationship, patience is required. It may not be very fashionable to say, have patience with your guru. Especially in our Eastern traditional language, the guru is said to be perfect. And if you are uncomfortable with your guru, something is wrong with you. That is the traditional value. But ground realities could be either way. For after all, out of 100 people who study under a certain guru, for good or bad reasons, 8 or 10 may not be all that comfortable. The chemistry doesn't match. So I personally, excuse me for saying this, I personally say that if there is some student who is not understood by his guru, or that is how she feels, and she wants to walk on a new trail, on a new path, I say, God bless you. Be true to your conscience, but never criticize or never find fault. Just say that somehow I need to walk a different road. Okay, take your different road. Okay, coming back to Sankalpa. What would then be your Sankalpa? Or in Stephen Covey's language, your personal mission statement? Or in Wayne Dyer's language, what is the intention? What's going to be a resolve? Your resolve could be in a spiritual context. I want to have better relationships. I would rather work on essential relationships and make them beautiful than trying to please hundreds of people. When we try to please Tom, Dick and Harry, or Sita, Geeta and Neeta, then we end up then hurting and disturbing and disappointing everybody, including Tom and Dick or Sita or Geeta. Therefore, one comes upon a right sankalpa. Some of you with a little interest in Sanskrit language or etymology in any language for that matter may wonder, how did this word sankalpa come? Sankalpa incidentally has many meanings, different meanings at different places. In Bhagavad Gita, just to mention in a passing manner, in a certain context in chapter 6, Sankalpa means the imagination that an object has happiness. So that is a very different meaning. Shobhana Adhyasa, we say. Leave it aside. Here, and in most well-known cases, Sankalpa is Samyak Kalpanam. Samyak means in a very nice way. Kalpanam means conceiving. My mind is oscillating. I have some money now. Shall I buy a car? Or shall I build an extra room in my house? And then after reflecting, after soul searching, after examining my own values and my personal as family's true needs, I decide that what we need more than anything else is an extra room in my house. Then that is samyak kalpitam. Then you have the intention. Then you no more allow the thought of buying a car to interfere. For the next 6 months or 1 year, you are totally focused on completing, fulfilling that desire of building one more room in your own home, in your own house. So, samyak kalpitam sankalpa. When oscillating and vacillating thoughts change over to a decisive thought after good amount of examination, then that is sankalpa. Therefore, at the end of it all, I may say that what I have spoken in this session is, as it is the case many times, it is nothing but codified common sense. Codified common sense. Pujya Swami Chinmayananda used to once in a while say, all this I don't have to tell you. I am only helping you see what you anyhow knew. And I guess he had used this word, codified common sense. So, before closing, let me also say, because I mentioned what was before Sankalpa, just wishing, a desire, a passing thought, not just passing once, a thought that keeps coming. That is manaha. But when it gets more crystallized and gives you more energy to go farther than usual, that is Sankalpa. What is after Sankalpa? I must quickly mention the fifth one. Sri Sanat Kumara mentions in this fascinating dialogue. Based on this dialogue, one can in fact come out with a nice compendium of management insights or guidance to human life, to relationships, and to many other contexts for number of levels of human consciousness are examined here. The next one is Chitta. And Chitta, interestingly, is where one goes deeper. Let me read for you before concluding how, because nothing like Adi Shankara's crisp definitions. That is how we really take the help of the Bhashyas a lot. And that is how for centuries or couple of thousands of years, Adi Shankara continues to inspire lots of people around the world. So do the other acharyas, of course, Sri Ramanuja, Sriman Madhva, and so on. These acharyas, with their very profound and insightful commentaries, have indeed held the Hindus in awe. So what is Chittam? Praptakala Anurupa Bodhavatvam Atita Anagata Vishaya Prayojana Nirupana Samarthyancha. So, whenever we want to really arrive at a Sankalpa, this is what I want to do. One needs a certain intelligence to assess the benefits in option A and less benefits in option B. When one assesses, when one finds out, as Shankara uses, let me highlight the key word, Prayojana Nirupana Samarthyam. My mind is oscillating between buying a car or building another room. Then am I intelligent enough? Do I have enough of inner knowledge, maybe based on all that I have seen in life? Or sometimes I need to consult a couple of friends. All that is part of intelligent living. That intelligence is Chittam. Chittam Chetayitritvam and Prayojana Nirupana Samarthyam. After reflection and deciding that building a room has greater Prayojana and buying a car has relatively less Prayojana or benefit, I then firm up. I firm up my decision to build an extra room in my house. Thus, Sankalpa is preceded on a lower level by wishing and fancying or desiring, that is manaha, and it is followed by a higher, or call it a deeper level of our existence, which we need to recognize, which we need to come face to face with, and that is Chitta. So maybe in another session we shall examine another or a few more of the components of this wonderful analysis of human personality. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Please feel free to ask some questions. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Let me see if somebody has. All right. So, may I ask Ranjan to ask his question or make his comment?
It was a very, very good seminar again, a webinar again. I really enjoyed listening to it. But I think in the beginning there was a small thing. I think you meant to say that Nisarga Datta was the inspiration of the entire, and you inadvertently said that other way. So I wanted to make
Oh, I see.
just correct that.
Thank you for pointing that out. Okay.
Thanks a lot. It was very good.
Wonderful. So I go to someone else now. And we have Krish Chilukuri here, who is himself a webinar presenter with us. Let me see. Yes, now the mic is on. Yes, Krish.
Hari Om Swamiji, Namaste.
Namaste. Ji.
Something that has been an interesting observation over the several years, that if you can visualize or an intention, if you can visualize a purpose, a result, then it is within your capability to achieve it.
Yeah.
It's amazing that you cannot, nothing that you can, that you want, that you set yourself as a purpose is unachievable. Maybe that's something to do with the way we construct, the brains are constructed.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. Very well said. In fact, Stephen Covey, I now remember, says all creation is a second creation. First you create in your mind, then you create outside. First you visualize, you know what you want. That is first creation. Then there is a creation actually outside. It could be a machine, it could be a house, it could be a book, whatever.
And then the question comes, where does this intention come from?
Correct. Where does intention come from? Well, if you restrict to the Chāndogya, out of that intelligence, because in this world you find 95 out of 100 people lack that intelligence, therefore they don't have the right intention. They are moving, they are wobbling. So intelligence, and intelligence comes, according to Sanat Kumara, out of certain one-pointed contemplation, dhyana, and that dhyana comes from right understanding. So he really, he opens up a whole lot of processes, and then to me it seems that whether they are actually in a proper sequence or not, certainly there are so many processes, and we generally, some of us tap some processes and leave out other processes. Like I have several pens, red and blue and green, until you point out to me, I might have been using only the black pen. Then one day your friend like you comes and says, why don't you use the red pen? Why don't you use the green pen? Then I say, oh yeah, I forgot I have them. Like that, I think this intelligence, this ability to stay with one thought for a length of time, and he even brings interesting bala, anna, and so on. You need strength, you need stamina, and increasingly, don't we, to these days say mind and body are related. Unless you have both physical strength, physical stamina, and mental strength, you won't be able to do contemplation too. You reside in San Diego, and that's where Deepak Chopra has put this, what is that, mind-body institute, right? So I might have gone far. Did you mean to wonder by asking where it comes from? Did you mean to wonder in some other way?
it is an unanswerable question in many ways. So I have to leave that. But I appreciate
my answer to this, there are many processes within us, and if we activate them, we will be able to come out much better.
Yes. That is motivation to study the Upanishad. Thank you so much.
Oh, welcome. You're welcome. As always, Ranjan and you have always been contributing to these webinars. Okay, now Arvind Salvekar has a text question. Let me go to the text. Let us try to listen to the insights of Pujya Swamiji on what Sankalpa is and its role in obstructing our path to truth. Oh, apparently this is the comment by Sri Salvekar. Maybe you wrote it a while ago. Let's listen to the insights of Swamiji on what Sankalpa is and its role in obstructing our path to truth. So, you know, when Sankalpa is taken in the meaning as it comes up in Bhagavad Gita, you know, for example, there is an expression, Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman Tyaktva Sarvan Asheshataha. Lord Krishna says, give up your desires born of Sankalpa. Yeah, that Sankalpa means something different. As I said in my lecture, Shobhana Adhyasa. That is, I look at something and in my spiritual ignorance, I say, that object, that person, that position can give me happiness. So the imagination that there is happiness outside is also called Sankalpa, which is a totally different meaning than what we took in this session. And that can come, that is an obstacle to truth. Then the mind gets externalized. I am trying to meditate on Lord Shiva, and suddenly I get an idea. If I write on Shiva Bhakti, that book will sell like hot cakes. Isn't it wonderful? I'll become very popular. I give up my Shiva Upasana and start writing a book with the Sankalpa that I'll become popular. So you talked about obstructing. So when Sankalpa has that other meaning, where you see happiness in outer things, that is an obstacle. I'll come back to, where is that? Oh, yes. There's somebody else with a raised hand. I have to scroll a little, bear with me. I take some time to figure out who has lifted. Surprisingly, a couple of people who always ask questions are silent today. So they have made some other sankalpas. No. Okay, one more time I will scroll all these names up and down. And once more I will check the text questions. Okay. Yeah, that's about it, it seems. So, thank you very much. It has been wonderful meeting all of you and going with this session of the webinar. Till next time again. Hari Om. Namah Shivaya.
Pranam Swamiji.
Namaste. Namaste.